child is a small human being, young human being, entrusted to our care and protection. That small human being, and the definition of a child, someone between 0 and 18. Actually, if you look at the constitution, the life of a person begins at conception. So the right starts from the womb. So now we come to how do we protect these young human beings who God has entrusted to us. Let's start with the philosophy of it. The fact is, and this we can get a lot of understanding from the social scientists, children need both parents. That's a best case scenario. Those two parents, circumstances may dictate that they are not under one roof. But even in separate roofs, they have to participate in the child's life for the stability of the child. You just need to look at wild animals, and you'll find the ones that do best co-parenting. The survival rate of the children is higher. I would want you to one day observe the penguins. They are such excellent co-parents, you know. The egg is left with one parent as the other one goes to the sea. It's very cold. They keep it between the legs, under the feathers. It's warm. Daddy does that and mommy does that. And the other one now comes after having eaten and stored some for this child once the child is hatched. And they exchange the egg very well, carefully. And the other one goes to the sea. This one is left. And they have some food stored somewhere. It's amazing. So when the child hatches, the child has something to eat. Excellent co-parenting. Look at the ostrich. Most birds actually co-parent. And you'll find everybody's catching a worm and bringing to the chick, catching the worm. The survival rate will be higher. That's why even the lionesses tolerate the lion that sleeps most of the day. But at least it is there to protect the children. So when you look at the cheetah and some cat family, the survival rate is very low because mommy does everything. So the philosophy of it, our children are better off when we are working as a team. Whether we are married to each other or not. Our behavior affects our children seriously. We have many broken or bent children because of the way the parents behaved. And so, if I know the child I'm fighting for, I can fight very hard to get the maintenance. We can take this child to high-cost school or whichever school. But so long as we two are misbehaving and subjecting this child to psychological or physical torture or abuse, then we are going to have a bent child. Even if we keep this child with psychologists and psychiatrists and all that, so long as we continue to subject them to that abuse, this child may never be straightened. So once we know that, then we're able to deal with custody issues. I find that background very important because sometimes when you're in a fight, you actually forget the value of what you're fighting for. But once you know the value of it, you can now deal with the issue of custody very well. Now, the first thing we deal with on custody matters is something we call legal custody. Legal custody is the right of the parents to confer and to decide on issues to do with the child, especially the major decisions, such as should the child have a surgery, which hospital, which doctor, we choose together, which school should this child go to. It's important for the parents to agree. If you decide to do it alone, and sometimes some parents have done this, where you say, I've changed the child and I've taken the child to this school. Here is a fee schedule, pay. The other person is likely to say, no, I was not consulted. You see, even in the political arena, the whole issue of public participation is a big thing. People need to participate. So the parents need to participate, confer, and hopefully agree. Even the whole issue of should I migrate to another country with a child, Now, I can't just decide to jet out today with a child. No. The other parent needs to know. And explanation given. And consent given. And if there is no consent, a court order is obtained. That is about legal custody. The other thing we fight about is care and control, which is basically the possession of the child the better part of the week, the better part of the month, the better part of the year. The parent with care and control is the one we would say is the primary caregiver. Is the one who walks with the child every day, watches the child every day, makes sure homework is done, child is in school in good time. Who is that parent? That parent should be the one who is best placed to take care of the child. That parent can be father or mother. Of course, women tend to have an upper hand on this one. I guess it's because the primary caregiving starts from the womb, arguably.
Yeah.
They say the mother gets to know the voice of them. Should be put of both parents. And maybe the mother is with the child all the time in the womb. And of course, the whole issue of breastfeeding. We bond more.
Yeah. We
spend more time together. I'm carrying the baby's milk, so I have to be around the baby most of the time. But that alone does not make me a better parent. Remember, under Article 27 of the Constitution, nobody should be discriminated on the basis of gender. So the fact that I'm a male parent doesn't mean I'm disqualified from care and control. So there are many factors that they look at when they are deciding who is going to have care and control. The first one being the conduct of the parents. Even I am an absentee mother. Never there. I'm up and about. I am mother, yes, but maybe father is a better parent to have care and control.
Yeah.
If my work is just to throw tantrum, whether I'm the male father or male parent or the female parent, fight, create acrimony. Why would you keep the child in the custody of an acrimonious parent?
Yeah.
So we may be inclined to give the child to the more peace-loving, more stable parent. Be that, even if that parent is their father. So the conduct of parents is very important. So those who are in this situation, look at your conduct and check your conduct. It could be one of the major reasons why you not get custody. The wish of the parent, of course, in most cases, everyone is wishing to have care and control. But wish alone is not enough. It has to come with other things. We have to think about the wish of the child, especially if the child is able to express themselves. We, however, don't ask a doggo, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, who do you want to live with? It's not fair. The child is not able to make that decision. And I appeal to the parents not to try and influence that child. And if you influence that child and that child is called to the children's court, there is a way of catching those parents. And children are quite honest. You ask, who told you? Mommy said, or daddy said, I say. When you call, I'm called, I say. In any case, we should not teach children to lie. So let them be honest. And so do not influence them. In any case, they are going to tell on you.
Yeah.
And by the way, when the court calls children, the parents are not allowed in.
Okay.
And sometimes the lawyers are not allowed in. So it's only the magistrate who knows what the child said. So when it comes to decision making, they're able to now decide. A few more things they look at: the age of the child, the sex of the child, religious persuasion of the child, the custom of the community. I have to warn people, though, you can't say because I come from this tribe, in our tribe, children go with the father or children go with the mother. That's not the supreme thing. Let's put it, because of time, it is housed in something called the best interest of the child.
Okay.
Where will the child's best interest be housed? Education interests, emotional well-being, religious interest, all the interests of the child. Between these two parents, who is best to promote the best interest of the child? The Constitution under Article 53 states that in all these matters, the paramount consideration is the best interest of the child. Now, finally, the last thing we consider is maintenance, which is a very contentious one. We never start with maintenance in our discussion because, like I said, it is important, but to me, it's not the most important because some children have grown in very humble surroundings, very humble homes. They've attended very humble schools, but because of the stability in their homes, they have excelled. There are children who've gone to very high-end schools, but because of their acrimony in the home, they are not stable. So the stabilizing factor in a child is it is the co-parenting principles that we apply. However, the child needs food, the child needs clothes. The law talks about basic needs of a child. When I started practicing, we used to talk about the standard the children are entitled to. So, if the children are entitled to a 5-bedroom house, a high-end school, I go and fight to ensure the standard is maintained. Hey, but now the law talks about basic needs, and the basic needs are stated very well. It is housing, I think, education, which is a shared responsibility with the government. Yeah, medical, of course. So we sit and we look at various factors. Now, number one, under Article 53 of the Constitution, the duty to maintain the child belongs to both parents, whether they are married to each other or not. Parental responsibility is not tied to marriage. Parental issues are separate, marital issues are separate. So we sit and unfortunately, Article 53, the duty is equal. But the reality is the earning capacity of parents is different. So sometimes we fight for equitable sharing of the parental responsibility. This is one area I think women have lost because when I started practicing, we used to say, oh, he has a duty. And we used to quote even culturally has a duty. And for us who have the Christian faith, we say, oh, under Christian faith, the man should maintain the children. Now, we are at Article 53 now. We have the principle of equality between the genders. So everybody puts the check on the table. So what we usually do is the sharing. Who will take what? But there is nobody who walks away with nothing. And nobody should walk away with nothing.
But this sharing is based on the basic needs of a child, right?
Basic needs of the child and the ability of the parents.
Okay.
Why? You can't give what you don't have. We call it the Nemodat principle. So you can't condemn me to pay fees I can't afford. I give what I have. So the earning capacity of the parents is considered. And what we ask them to do is to file something called affidavit of means. I have to say there is some measure of dishonesty in some parents. So someone says, I earn this amount. But when you look at the standard of living they have, they must be earning much, much more.
Yeah.
This is an area we call for honesty. And that's why I start with the argument for the principles. If I had a dream for my child, I have a vision, I have a dream for my child. I would want my child to be something, to be an impactful member of society, to be a responsible citizen. He could even be gifted in football or another area. That dream should not die because we are in conflict.
Yeah.
So I tell my clients, if you have more, finance a dream. Why? The children only need education until they are 22, 23, 24. And some are even earning a living even before they hit 24. After they get the jobs, they don't need your support. In fact, the role switch when the parents are entering 60, 70, 80. In fact, the dependency of parents on children, it may not be financial, but in terms of care, it could be longer than the one of parents to children.
Yeah.
So I tell the parents, it is for a little while, and it is for a season. A child can only go to school when they are in a certain age. So you kazana now. You fight to give them the best education you can afford, whether the other person is playing games or not. And I really have to hail some clients who heeded our call, and they did it. And the children are doing very well. And they honor that parent for the effort that they did. Now, there is a big question of the unwilling parent. The unwilling parent, like in case of maintenance, what do we do with them? Or how does the court enforce its orders? But before we go to the orders, maybe the first thing is to talk about the best way to resolve children's matters. Children's disputes are very emotive. This is part of us. It somehow brings the worst feelings from us.
Yeah.
So it's an area that needs to be handled with a lot of caution. We can take it to media. You can take it to social media. But I always wonder what benefit one draws from that. Now, our children are in social media and their friends are in social media. For the parents who've decided to fight their battles in social media, kindly withdraw from that space. You are damaging your children badly. It's where I go to school and my colleagues start talking about me. I saw your parents are fighting over you, you know. That is a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
The teachers know you are fighting over your child. It's terrible. And some parents take their fights to teachers. And teachers are tired of these fights. We need to grow up because it's us who brought these children to the world. So don't go to social media. It is not a place to litigate children's matters. By the way, the law bars publicity in children's matters. So when you're going to social media to talk about, oh, he's deadbeat, he has refused to maintain, you're actually breaching the law. Should I fight it through the village fights? Physical fights and all that? No, please don't go that route. It causes a lot of harm. May I ask parents, please, physical violence between parents in the presence of the children is very psychologically damaging to the children. Please, let's not do these things at all. And especially in front of the children. The damage you're doing to your children is irreparable. Okay, a miracle can undo it.
Yeah.
But it is very damaging. So let's look for civil ways of resolving matters. And the civil ways, number one, is you and the other parent talking. That is always the first forum.
Yeah.
Mimi na yeye. You could insult each other behind the door. But try and resolve it. Because this was a partnership between us. We were able to partner all the way to Bath and all that. Why can't we also partner going forward? I want to say that you have capacity to resolve your issues between yourselves if you give it a chance. If, however, you're not able to deal with it between yourself, get another person. It could be a friend, it could be a family member, someone you can respect, or the two of you respect and honor. That's another forum. If you can't do that, and maybe there are issues that need to be handled by professionals, do it before professional counselors. In fact, these days they are helping all the way to coming up with agreements. If that does not work, there are professional mediators, and there are some are non-lawyers. And you sit and you discuss and you come up with a parental responsibility agreement, which you just register in court. If it doesn't work, you could go to the lawyers. And we family lawyers, we are starting at the level of, can we talk?
Yeah.
When I started practicing, we used to serve papers. It's always go to court and serve summons. Not anymore. If I get instructions today, most likely I'll write a letter calling the other parent. Come, we talk as parents. And we are doing this a lot of time. And I really want to give credit to Kenyans. They're engaging in this more and more. So try and resolve it in that forum. It could be at mediation or negotiations. Mediation is where you get one person to hear you, guide you. A mediator is not an arbitrator, so the mediator is just supposed to give a forum, an open forum, safe space where you can discuss constructively and come up with an agreement. If the worst, I mean, if you're not able to agree, then do litigation, which is where you go to the children's court. The children's court is empowered to deal with all these matters. Some may not afford legal services, and I'm sure there are people who give legal aid, or there are those ones who guide you on how to draft the papers. The good thing with the children's court, it's very conscious of the limitations of litigants who act in person. And so you experience some kindness and guidance even from the court. When you go to court, you can seek orders on this, but still, the court can also ask you to talk. And then muongee. And some people are very disappointed that I came to court and then I'm being told to go talk. But that's the way we are going. But there are also court annexed mediators. The court has mediators where we are sending people shouting, kicking, being dragged, whatever the case, but tuende muongee na court annexed mediator. And the court annexed mediation is aligned with the court procedure. So you get mentions, the court keep checking whether you are going, who is unwilling, your conduct is looked at. So be careful. If you are referred by the court, please try and participate to the best of your ability. And of course, if all fails, the court has all the tools, it can make a decision. A good thing with the court, it can also enforce its decisions.
Okay.
And how it enforces its decision, one, if you are notorious, we can take something called notice to show cause. One, it can be for arrest and committal to civil jail. So if you are served, if you don't bring yourself, the bailiff brings you.
Yeah.
You explain to the court why you are not paying school fees, why you are refusing access to the other parent, why you are behaving in a particular way in defiance of a court order. And I want to tell you, the courts have put many parents in civil jail. The only sad thing is that the other parent has to feed that person in civil jail, so you pay for civil jail maintenance.
Yeah.
Because the government is not going to meet your costs there. So, and of course, sometimes the court also want to engage and understand why. So sometimes they give what we call family assistance order, where you speak to professionals like counselors to get to know why. Because sometimes it's a blockage. Maybe if you understood, maybe if you're counseled, things could change. The court can give orders like exclusion orders. If you are in the same home, you are notorious, you're always causing problems, the court can order that you leave that home so that the ones who are in that home can live in peace. It is hard because this is enforcement of orders against the other parent, someone you have to work with. And that's why we are pleading for mediation. We come up with our own order. We enforce our own order.
That is quite good to know. And now that we've looked at those remedies, both civil and litigation, so probably we can move to the co-parenting bit. How does the law support co-parenting, or rather the Children's Act?
Yes, I think it's captured in what I've just spoken. Engaging the parents.
Okay.
There's a lot of grace in the children's courts. I look at the magistrates and for sure they have a lot of grace. Engaging them, just trying to understand. In fact, some call them for a conference. Just the two of them. Why are you not doing this? Why is this happening? So that way you are promoting peaceful co-parenting. Now, we don't have to litigate, so we have the option of a parental responsibility agreement.
Okay.
A parental responsibility agreement is an agreement you enter into outside court, but the court registers it, it becomes a court order, and the court is able to enforce it. It's important for people to know that we have social workers the court uses. Actually, if you're having problems, you could even start, and I should have mentioned that earlier, with reporting this to the children's officer's office. They are there under the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, and you can go to your area children's officer. They will call the other parent. They will try and broker peace. In fact, they have even brokered some agreements in that forum. There's something called family assistance order, because we've realized that why parents behave in a certain way is maybe because of psychological trauma. They also are coming from somewhere. You see, most of us are coming from somewhere. There's some history. The court is able to give an order for appointment, let's say, of a psychologist or a psychiatrist to sit with the parents, to guide them, and try and assist in whichever way that professional can to make the parents behave better and co-parent better. There's another way of enforcing a court order, which is attachment of salary.
Yeah.
But that only applies to those people who are employed. The worst people are the ones self-employed, the ones owning their own businesses, because I can create some accounts, some statements, letters showing how bad things are. Nearly call an auctioneer to show they are touching my whole office, so I'm doing so badly. Kenyans have a way of creating fake documents.
Yeah.
So there is a lot that needs to be done on the area of enforcement. The process of notice to show cause is laborious. That notice has to be served on that data or that disobedient person. That person could be in Laikipia. Nobody knows exactly where they are. The service has to be done by a court process server. So, but I can go to court and ask to serve by WhatsApp or email. Luckily, these things can work. But there is still the law that if you are seeking like arrest, you need to serve that person personally. So a lot of time is lost and money is needed for this service to be done, and it gives the naughty person a chance to dodge, and delay the process. So it is not at its best. A lot can be done on enforcement of court orders. We don't access people's accounts, so I can just come and say I have no money. But maybe one day we'll get to a point where we are able to have investigative arms so that we look a little more into what do you have, so that it's not just what you present to the court and you are lying. So we are not at 100%. A lot more needs to be done. In fact, my biggest cry when I log in is when I hear someone say, alipelekewa makaratasi, oh, hakuna affidavit of service. The person didn't know when you take papers, you're supposed to file an affidavit. So that day is lost because there is no confirmation services done. Yes, a lot of assistance need to be given to litigants and represented litigants in this court for things to flow smoothly. Our courts are firm, but they can be firmer.
Yeah. Because
people come with all kinds of stories. I think stories should not be entertained anymore. Like, nililipa. Wapi evidence ulilipa. Oh, iko kwa M-Pesa. Oh, sijui. So many excuses. I think you should be denied audience of the court until you comply with a court order.
Yeah.
So some grip, tight grip, it's needed. And let me tell you, the worst orders to enforce, okay, maybe the two rank together. Access orders are also very difficult to implement. And I plead with our sisters, despite the emotional aspects, allow the father of the child to relate with the child, unless that relationship or that access is not serving the best interest of the child. But to tell you the truth, all children need both parents.
Yeah.
And it can be either way. It's only that we have more women dealing with access because more women have care and control. So they are the ones who need to facilitate. And men volunteer this money, go over and above. And that's why I always say, even the practitioners, we lawyers can do a little bit more. Let's urge, the Bible says we spur one another to love and good works. Let us spur the parent with money, if our parent be the father. Let us push them to pay fees. And that's why, like in our farm, we have a policy. We don't want to act for a dodging parent. So that my work is to try and, show he has no money, he's not able to afford. I will be doing injustice to a child by helping that kind of a parent. So our philosophy should be not that one of winning a case. It should be that one of fighting for the best interest of the child. So though I'm hired by the man or the woman, my client is the child. The future is in the children. We are having many children going to psychologists and counselors and psychiatrists, trying to undo what the damage the parents are doing. We have taken some to local service providers, some even abroad, to try and cure the damage caused by parents. In my 31 years of practice, I have not seen damage caused by a parent being undone by professionals. So, because parents are very influential in a child's life. Number two, the child lives in that environment.
Yeah.
So they can see a counselor and they feel so good and they feel they can conquer. But they come home to the warlords who are fighting and cursing. Now, my plea is to the parents. Since these children are your children, and except in the case of rape, the others we conceived by agreement,
Yeah.
take responsibility. Take charge of your children. Do not leave it to counselors, teachers, courts. You can take charge. Behave better. And since the journey is long, why don't we create a cordial relationship? The marital or the friendship may have died, but parenting is for life. If birds can co-parent, if penguins can co-parents, why not us, the human being, who are gifted with higher ability than the animals? It is possible. So let's talk. Let's develop the culture of engaging and resolving things amicably. Thank you.